It's Monday morning. It's 5 o'clock. Boiling some water to brew coffee. Done my yoga. Honestly, I'm having a tough time with doing the rest of the miracle morning besides waking up and doing the exercise. It just seems like everything else is so ancillary, I guess would be the word, to the actual getting up early and starting your day and getting yourself motivated to use the morning for yourself. So I'll do some reading, or maybe if I don't, I'm gonna watch a YouTube thing on shadow banking, because I just was listening to Robert and Kevin McElroy and Robert Kiyosaki on the podcast, and they said they went to Dallas just a couple days ago, and that's what some of the top financial thinkers are talking about right now is how the Fed is actually useless. They're like the Wizard of Oz. They look like they're controlling everything, but really, behind the curtain, they're quite powerless. And really, it's the shadow banks that are multiple times the size of the Fed Reserve, and how that's actually collapsing right now. And we don't know what that's going to mean, but basically they're saying, don't buy yet. Wait for the properties to go on sale when the banks own them. So maybe it was good timing to throw my hat in at Fannie and Freddie. So, well, Fannie at least. I haven't heard back from Fannie yet, so still waiting. And do some REO properties, so we'll see. Biggest bag holders are REITs and pension funds, who essentially have all these buildings that are vacant, and they have to pay debt on those buildings. If they don't have a tenant, then obviously that's economically unsound. Let's say it that way. So those properties might just go right back to the bank, and I'm not quite sure who's giving these people mortgages, right? So the bank that's giving those mortgages are going to be the ones who are going to be owning them. So I doubt they're commercial lenders are essentially Fannie and Freddie. I think those are just purely single family, or basically a duplex, triplex, and a fourplex. Why don't I call it a quadplex? I don't know. But if you've been waiting on the sidelines, it seems like it's what the big dogs are doing now. They're just kind of waiting there. But that's also a self-defeating prophecy. The more people that are looking and itching to get into the game, the sooner they will act before the shit hits the fan. So that actually keeps the economy propped up artificially by people thinking or swooping in, finding deals right when there's like a little spike, and they're like, "Ooh, look at the spike! I'm gonna find deals," and then it keeps it from actually dropping down into recession or depression. And so they're expecting now that we're going to be heading into a depression. So that's fun. Now that you know that, how can you equip yourself? So obviously, if the stock market tanks, that's bad. And if the housing prices tank, that's good if you're looking to buy a house, but bad if your money's tied up with it and you can't do anything. So maybe crypto would be a way to tie up money. If not, I never advise keeping stuff in cash, especially fixing. I don't know. I'm starting to put some money into crypto. We'll see how that goes. I'm definitely not putting all of my money in crypto. Just enough to see what will happen with it. And I think just taking some profits off the table and keeping on the sidelines for now, but not selling the whole farm, right? Just being strategic about putting money aside, so when there are deals available, you can jump on them for cheap. So that's the plan here. Is thinking about what's going to happen in the next 6 months. So I'm going to educate myself more about the shadow banking system here. I think the guy's name is George Gammon. If you just type in George G in YouTube, and then you find him. I think it's Gammon, Gammon, and type in shadow banking, I think there's a little great explainer about what that is. So I'll give it a shot, learn a little bit. And then who was the other one? Lacey Hunt was the other guy that did a presentation. So I haven't watched any of his stuff yet. So give it a look-see to see if it's any good. So just doing financial education this morning. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. So yeah. Anyway, what happened here? Anyway, so anything else? Oh, it's Monday, so gonna head to the office. So I'm gonna do some reading. I haven't done that in a while, so trying to pad all of these videos with some more information than just me, talking sleepily into the camera. So I'm gonna try to see if I can actually do any other things such as scribing, visualizations, silence. I'm not gonna do silence. I don't think my life's hectic enough right now to warrant it. And reading I'm gonna do, obviously. Scribing I can do and do my affirmations. So yeah, I can maybe get at least 2/3 of them done. Yeah, okay. And that's it. And that's it for the morning vlog. Oh, today is step number 5. Seek mentors. And that's what I'm trying to do, but there's nobody out there. One day. But as I was saying, what was I saying? I was listening to somebody saying, you have to start putting in the work, and then people will naturally gravitate towards you once you actually start getting invested and start pursuing something. Otherwise, you can't just say, hey, I am maybe interested in something. Could you help me out? No, you have to first, dive head first into the deep end, and you'll attract the people based on your personality, and to see if if you can flounder for a little bit, and if you can put your head up above water. And if you do, people know that you're serious, and then they'll probably look at you and say, okay, you know what, you need a little bit of guidance. I'm trying to do that, but I can't find nobody. Yeah. Gotta keep at it, I guess. All right. Step 5: seek mentors. A mentor is someone who tells you what is important and what is not important. All right. Who guides you to places you've never been to before? A mentor is someone who tells you what is important and what is not important. The following financial statement from the Cash Flow board game was created to be a mentor. Oh, you don't even need a real person. Oh, it's this, instead of having to go back a video, we're just gonna flip a couple pages, which is the nice thing about having the books. And we're gonna look at, so if you need a refresher, okay, sorry, I'm probably doing a terrible job of this. I'm covering the screen to my phone. Okay, hopefully that was a refresher. And now I got to... The following financial statement from the Cash Flow board game was created to be a mentor. It trains people to think like my rich dad thought and points out what he considered to be financially important. My highly educated but poor dad thought that a job with a high salary was important and that buying your dream home was important. He also believed in paying bills first and living below your means. My rich dad taught me to focus on passive income and spend my time acquiring assets that provide passive or long-term residual income. He did not believe in living below your means. To his son and me, he often said, instead of living below your means, focus on expanding your means. To do that, he recommended that we focus on building the asset column and increasing our passive income from capital gains, dividends, and residual income from businesses, rental income from real estate, and royalties. Both dads served as strong mentors for me as I grew up. The fact that I chose to follow the financial advice of my rich dad did not lessen the impact my poor dad had on me. I would not be who I am today without the strong influence of both of these men. Okay, now that we saw that form, there are 2 arrows, and I'm going to read the boxes. Salary. Poor dad thought the salary area of the financial statement was important. Passive income. Rich dad taught me that interest/dividends and real estate/business areas are important if you want to be rich. So, salary points here, passive income points
Yeah. Reverse role models. Just as there are mentors who are excellent role models, there are people who are bad role models. In most instances, we all have both types in our lives. For example, I have friends who've made more than $800 million in his lifetime, but today he's bankrupt. I've had other friends ask me why I continue to spend time with him. The answer to the question is because he's both an excellent role model and an excellent reverse role model. I can learn from both role models. One teaches me what to do, while the other serves an example of what not to do. Embarrassing to be in this book. Yeah, I'm the guy who's not to follow. Spiritual role models. Both my dads were spiritual men, but when it came to money and spirituality, they had different points of view. For instance, they interpreted the meaning behind, quote, "the love of money is the root of all evil," differently. My highly educated but poor dad felt that any desire to have more money or to improve their financial position was wrong. On the other hand, rich dad believed that temptation, greed, and financial ignorance were wrong. In other words, rich dad did not think money itself was evil, but he did believe that working all your life as a slave to money was evil, and to be in financial slavery to personal debt was evil. My rich dad often had a way of converting religious teachings into financial lessons, and I would like to share one of those lessons with you now. The power of temptation. Rich dad believed that individuals who worked hard were chronically in debt and lived beyond their means were poor role models for the children because they gave into temptation and greed. He would often draw a diagram like the following and say, quote, "and lead us not into temptation," as he pointed to the liability column. Rich dad believed that many financial problems came from the desire to possess items that had little value. When credit cards arrived, he foresaw that millions of people would go into debt, which would eventually control their lives. And if you really want to control your spending and getting out of debt, only take cash out of the ATM and use cash to spend it. And that means no going shopping online. You have to go physically to the store and take money out of your wallet and fork it over. That'll reduce your spending without having to do any, budgeting. You just have to, live like it was 1950s. Okay, where was it? We see people going into tremendous personal debt for homes, furnishing, clothing, vacations, and cars because they lack control over the human emotion called temptation. Today, people work harder and harder to buy things that they think are assets, but their spending habits will never allow them to acquire real assets. Rich dad would point to the asset column and say, "But deliver us from evil." But deliver us from evil. This was rich dad. This was rich dad's way of saying that delaying gratification, a sign of emotional intelligence, minding your own business, and building your asset column first would help you to avoid the I'm reading like 3 words at once. I don't know which my mind is thinking. Degradation, there it is, of the human spirit caused by temptation, lack of financial education, and the influence of financially poor role models. Especially if you think about all that marketing that goes into separating you and your cash. That keep buying, and it's like, why am I buying? Oh, to make you happy and make your business profitable, not because you're actually trying to solve a problem of mine. Okay. For those of you seeking your own fast track, I can only caution you to be more careful about the people you surround yourself with. Ask yourself, are they good role models? If not, I suggest you spend more time with the people who are heading in the same direction you are. If you cannot find them at work, look for them in investment clubs, network marketing groups, and other business associations. Find someone who's been there. Choose your mentors wisely. Be careful from whom you take advice. If you want to go somewhere, it is best to find someone who's already taken the journey. For example, if you decide to climb Mount Everest next year, obviously you would seek advice from someone who's climbed the mountain before. However, when it comes to climbing financial mountains, most people get advice from people who are stuck in financial swamps. It is hard to find mentors who are B's and I's, so big business investors. Most people giving advice about those quadrants and about money are people who actually come from the E and S quadrants. Rich Dad encouraged me to always have a coach or a mentor. He consistently said professionals have coaches, amateurs do not. For example, I play golf and I take lessons, but I do not have a full-time golf coach. This is probably why I pay money to play golf instead of getting paid to play golf. But when it comes to the game of business investing, I do have coaches, several of them. Why? Because I get paid to play those games. So choose your teachers and mentors wisely. It is one of the most important things you can do. Take action. Number 1, seek mentors. Find individuals in both investment and business arenas who might act as mentors to you. A, seek out role models, learn from them. And B, seek out reverse role models and learn from them. Number 2, who you spend your time with is your future. Write down the 6 people you spend time with the most. Remember that the qualifier is who you spend time with the most with, and not the nature of the relationship. All of your children count as one person. Don't read any further until you've written down your 6 names. Oh boy. I don't think I can come up with 6 people that I spend time with. 4, 5, 6 is pushing it. I know, sad. I was at a seminar many years ago. Maybe it's just COVID talking, I don't know anymore. Or maybe it's language portrait, I have no idea. I was at a seminar many years ago when an instructor asked us to do this. When he asked us to examine the names we had written down and announced, you are looking at your future. The 6 people who you spend the most time with are your future. These 6 people you spend the most time with may not always be personal friends. They may be your coworkers, spouse, children, or members of your church or other social groups. My list consisted of coworkers, business associates, and rugby players. It was pretty revealing once I began to look at below the surface. I gained insights about myself that I liked, and even more than I didn't. The instructor had us go around the room and discuss our lists with others. After a while, the relevance of our exercise began to sink in even deeper. The more I discussed my list with other people and the more I listened to them, the more I realized that I needed to make some changes. This exercise had little to do with the people I was spending my time with and everything to do with where I was going and what I was doing with my life. Today, the people I spend most time with are all different except one. The 5 others on my earlier list are still dear friends, but we rarely see each other. They're great people and they're very happy with their lives. Their removal from my list was all about me. I wanted to change my future, and to do that, I had to change my thoughts and the people I spend time with. In your list of 6 people, after each person's name, list the quadrant they operate from. Are they an E, S, B, or I? So employee, self-employed, business owner, or investor. If they are unemployed or retired, list the quadrant they earned their income from when they worked. Leave a blank for young children and students. Remember, the quadrant reflects the way that person generates the majority of their income. A person can have more than one designation. For example, my wife Kim would have a B and an I next to her name since she generates income from each. My list would have Kim at the top since I spend most of my time with her. Alright, so here's an example of how to make your list. And then number 4, the next step is to list each person's level as an investor. Please refer to the chapter 5 of the 5 levels of investors. Kim is a level 5 investor. If you don't know the person's investor level, do your best and take an educated guess. Chapter 5. It would make sense if I tell you what the levels of investors are. As I've mentioned them a couple times, right? Okay, here we go. Level 1 investor. If there's nothing in your asset column with no income from your investments and you have too many liabilities, then you are staring at the bottom level, ground zero. If you're deeply in bad debt, your best investment might be to get out of debt. There's nothing wrong with being deeply in debt unless you do nothing. After I lost my first business, I was nearly $1 million in debt. It took me almost 5 years to reach zero. In many ways, learning from my mistakes and taking responsibility for my mistakes was the best education I could have asked for. If I had not learned from my mistakes, I would not be here where I am today. Kim and I put together a simple program in the workbook, How to Get Out of Bed. Okay. Level 2 investor. If you are a saver, be very careful, especially if you're saving money in a bank or retirement plan. In general, savers are losers. Saving is often a strategy for people who do not want to learn anything. You see, it takes no financial intelligence to save. You can train a monkey to save money. The risk in saving is that you learn little and earn little. And if your savings are wiped out either by market decline or a devaluation of the money supply, you wind up without money and without education. Remember that the US dollar has lost 95% of its value since 1971. Oh, the gold standard. It will not take long to lose the rest of its value. As stated before, a person can even lose money saving gold if they buy gold at the wrong price. I suggest taking a few courses on investing, either in stocks or real estate, and see if anything interests you. If nothing interests you, then keep saving. Remember that okay, we're not going to talk about the bond market. Level 3 investor. This is similar to level 2, except that this level invests in riskier instruments such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, insurance, and other ETFs. Again, the risk with this level is that if everything is lost, the investor loses everything and learns nothing. If you're ready to move out of level 3 by investing in your financial education, taking control of your money, level 4 is a good idea for you. Are you a level 4 investor? If you're here as a professional investor, congratulations. Very few people invest the time to learn and manage their own money. The key to success at level 4 is lifelong learning, great teachers, great coaches, and like-minded friends. Level 4 investors take control of their lives knowing that their mistakes are their opportunities to learn and grow. It's getting dark in here, isn't it? The fear of investing does not frighten them, it challenges them. I think I'm a level 4 investor myself. Does that work? A little ambiance. And I got the blue light from the computer. Oh man, it makes me look like a ghoul. Okay. Are you a level 5 investor? To me, being a capitalist investor at level 5 is like being on top of the world. Literally, the world is your oyster. The world has no borders. In this world of high-speed technology, it is easier than ever to be a capitalist in the world of plenty. If you are at this level, keep learning and giving. Remember, the true capitalists are generous because be quadrant capitalists know you must give more to receive more. Okay, give it a sec here. I was at a seminar many years ago when the instructor asked us, oh, right, we did that too. I have had mixed reviews from people about this exercise. Some people get very angry. I've been told, how dare you ask me to classify the people around me? So if this exercise has caused many emotional upsets, please accept my apologies. It is not intended to upset anyone, but is designed to shine some light on an individual's life. It does for some, but not for everyone. When I did this exercise years ago, I realized that I was playing it safe and hiding. I was not happy where I was, and I used the people I worked with as the excuse for why I was not making progress in my life. There were 2 people in particular with whom I argued constantly, blaming them for holding our company back. My daily routine at work was to find their faults, point out those flaws out to them, and then blame them for the problems we had in this organization. After completing the exercise, I realized that those 2 people and I were always bumping heads. We were very unhappy with where they were. I was the one who wanted to change. Instead of changing myself, I was pressuring them to change. After doing this exercise, I realized that I was projecting my personal expectations onto others. I wanted them to do what I did not want to do. I thought they should want and have the same things I did. Clearly, they were not healthy relationships. Once I realized this, I was able to take steps to change myself. 5. Take a look at Cash Flow Quadrant and place the initials of the people you spend time with in the appropriate quadrant. This quadrant. Then put your initials in the quadrant where you are presently. Next, put your initials in the quadrant you want to operate from in the future. So I want to be in Boba Bay. Don't know how. That's my goal. If the initials are all primarily in the same quadrant, chances are you are a happy person because you surround yourself by like-minded people. If they are not all in the same quadrant, you may want to consider some changes in your life. Okay, that's it for that one. And we have step 6, which is tomorrow, and then I believe chapter 17, which is step 7, and then summary, which I don't think we're going to read. Okay, 6 tomorrow. I'm going to turn on some more light. Hopefully it'll make it a little bit more less shiny and reflective of my glasses here too.